The Spanish President Pedro Sanchez said today that Spain is ready to block the approval of the withdrawal agreement on Sunday if there are not changes made concerning Gibraltar. I have several questions to put to you on this. I want to know if that's correct, if Article 184 was included on the request of the British and whether the Spanish were informed. Is Barnier willing to include the reference that Spain wants to Gibraltar?
Before answering your question, Juan, let me remind our journalists from Central Asia that we have also Russian interpretation, I understand, so you are very much welcome to find this is for you. I understand we have provided this because not all of you follow English and French. Okay, now to your question, Juan. We are aware of Spain's concerns as expressed yesterday in the General Affairs Council. The European Union's position on Gibraltar is clear and as stated in the European Council guidelines of the 29th of April 2017, and I quote, "After the United Kingdom leaves the Union, no agreement between the EU and the United Kingdom may apply to the territory of Gibraltar without the agreement between the Kingdom of Spain and the United Kingdom," unquote. So, as you know, we are now in a stage where we are working closely with all our member states and in full respect of the European Council guidelines. Follow up?
Yes, I have many specific questions. You didn't answer any of my questions. My first was, is it correct? According to will Article 184 be introduced on the request from the UK? And is the EU negotiator Barnier willing to reopen that article to include a reference to Gibraltar, or is it too late? Well, Juan, I think that you are familiar with the procedure here in our press conferences, as you're often here, and we never comment on the ongoing negotiation process. And the political declaration on the future relationship between the EU and the UK is currently being worked on, and the next step will be for the European Council on Article 50 to endorse
withdrawal agreement and to approve the political declaration of the terms of the future relationship at the European Council on Sunday. Griselda.
Okay, we're not asking you what the context of the negotiations are. We're not even asking you to tell us what you are currently negotiating as solutions to the problem. We're simply asking you whether this text can or cannot be changed. That's something different. It's a point on format. Spain has requested that this be changed or amended in the upcoming declarations. You've just made a statement in which you've made certain comments. But what we are asking is whether it is feasible to change the text following the Spanish request. I'm not sure I've understood you. I lost what you were saying a bit there, but I'll just repeat what I said. Negotiations with our member states are still underway to define the political declaration on the future relationship, and if this process is completed, then there'll be a final agreement at the European Council meeting on Sunday. Perhaps you could just let me conclude, and then you'll see whether you need to ask any more questions. So what I was saying was, for as long as this process is underway, I am not going to make any comments regarding the procedure because it's underway. I'm not going to say who's saying what to who. I've never done that, and I never will. I'm not doing it today. We are aware of the concerns of the Spanish government, which were stated yesterday, and we're working on it. Now it's you.
Quand même, c'est peut-être une précision encore technique. On comprend bien que tu...
It's a very technical question again. We understand that the political discussions are underway, but we wanted to be clear on whether it is possible for changes to be made to the agreement, because Spain does have some concerns. So we're wondering about the statement, yes, but also Article 184, because Spain thinks that article isn't as specific as it should be on Gibraltar, or with regard to Gibraltar. And they say that they were not informed about this article before it was actually approved. So our question is, can Article 184 be amended with an annex or something like that? Or is the exit agreement finalised? Well, you're asking me questions which presuppose that the negotiations have stopped and completed. That's not the case. I clearly explained that when it comes to the withdrawal agreement, we have an agreement from the College of Commissioners and from the UK Cabinet. And we have then the final endorsement of the European Council, which will happen. Now, when it comes to the political statements pertaining to future relations, negotiations are underway. And this week, all that's evolving. The next step will be next Sunday. I don't now want to take this opportunity to have discussions about concerns or about other discussions which are underway.
Have a final one if a new angle comes. Yes, one of the two. Let's see.
Yes. So, the endorsements for the Spain position in the negotiation with Gibraltar will come in the political declaration, or will come in the withdrawal agreement?
Frankly, this is not a new angle. This is like, no, it's not. This is like reversing the sequence of what I said, trying to extract a definite response on a process which is ongoing. Yes. New angle, I hope.
Yes. I'm right to understand that everything of the concerns of Spain will be addressed only in the Sunday summit, not before?
Well, in a way you are right. Yes, I would say, because Sunday is the next step, which I repeat, and I please ask you to use to follow the terms that I use. This would be the moment where we will endorse the draft withdrawal agreement and approve the political declaration of our future relationship. Okay, let's move on the right now. Yes, but you would allow me to judge this, okay? You had 2 follow-ups, we had 5 questions. I think we have at least I think I'm clear that I cannot go where you want to take me 5 days before the European Council. That I cannot do. Yes.
Hi, thanks, Margaritis. I mean, just for absolute clarity, am I right in thinking that if Spain decides not to back the withdrawal agreement, then the European Council can't endorse the Brexit withdrawal agreement?
Ifs there. Too many ifs. Again, I think I explained in detail the moment we find ourselves in, the fact that the issues expressed by Spain are issues that are known to us and in a way are covered by the mandate. Now, what will happen if this and if that, I don't think that I will speculate. We are working closely with all our member states and in full respect of the European Council conclusions. Yes, Jennifer.
Thanks, Margaritis. Could you give some more details on President Juncker's meeting with the Prime Minister tomorrow? Will they be agreeing the political declaration. When will we see the text of that political declaration? And are you envisaging any press conference?
The aim of the meeting is to prepare Sunday's European Council Article 50 format and to ensure that we are in a position to, again I repeat, endorse the draft withdrawal agreement and approve the political declaration of the framework of the future relationship. This is an ongoing process, as I had the chance to explain to your Spanish colleagues, that will take us to Sunday morning. As for press arrangements, no, I do not have anything. I don't think we have press arrangements for this visit, but we'll find a way to debrief you, as we always do, in real time. Yes, Paddy.
More Brexit, I'm afraid, and similarly on the issue of transparency that my Spanish colleagues have been raising. Can I come back to the question which I asked yesterday, which is the publication of a crucial document on mapping North-South cooperation in Ireland, which the Ombudsman has demanded that you release now that negotiations are over. She says consideration of the withdrawal agreement is not really possible unless people have sight of this document. And I want to ask you again, will the Commission now publish this document? I'd just add that the British yesterday were saying in some weeks' time they will publish it, but they've already given commitments in the past, so I take that with a pinch of salt. And I have a question from Maya, but I'll come back maybe.
Okay, I believe you asked the question yesterday. We said we'll check. Danny came back to you. He gave you the information. Now you're asking it again. I'm happy to repeat it in front of your colleagues that we have respect for the Ombudsman's opinion. And of course, we will publish a document summarizing the issue you raised. One should always keep in mind that this is a negotiation, this is ongoing negotiation, and many of the exchanges that happen within negotiations have to be somehow safeguarded in the sense that serve mainly the negotiating table. But of course, and this is not the first time that I'm saying this, we're very proud, and I repeat, very proud for the degree of transparency that we provided throughout this process at all levels. Bruno.
Oh, no lights on it. I'd like to come back to Spain's problem. The Council's legal service said that Spain had misinterpreted the relationship between Article 3, territorial scope, and Article 184, the best endeavours for a future relationship. And I wondered if the Commission's legal service, for once, agreed with the Council's legal service.
I'm not aware of these paper trails. I do not think that we have done in the past to discuss in the press room internal advice, either ours or from across the street. So I'm sorry I cannot help you there, Bruno. Yes, follow up. But mind the visitors who want to know if there is something else beyond Brexit in Europe. Europe's positive agenda. Yeah. We'll come to that, I promise.
Yeah. Well, I can only apologise to them then, but I do have to ask a question. You were talking about the amount of transparency that the Commission has shown, for which I congratulate you, of course. But perhaps you could be a bit more transparent about this legal advice and whether it exists or not.
Yeah, but with all due respect, Bruno, I don't think that your idea of transparency by using this example is the right one. These are internal legal advice, legal papers that are meant for the negotiating table and by no means something that could be discussed in parallel in the press room. Otherwise, it would defeat the purpose. And I'm not aware of many governments or international organizations doing this. When I discuss transparency, and I reiterate our commitment to transparency, is that throughout this process, each time that we had a negotiating round, we were presenting you the agenda, we had debriefings, we had press conferences, we had technical briefings, we had across the street briefings, so I stay with my transparency claim. Yes. Mind the visitors.
Thanks, Margaret. So I'll try to keep this very brief then. On the dinner, can you just confirm that it was Theresa May who requested this meeting with Mr. Juncker tomorrow? Can you give us any details on who's going to be there? Will the Secretary-General be there? Will Mr. Barnier be there? And finally, Theresa May says she's coming over to negotiate with Jean-Claude Juncker. Will he actually be doing any direct negotiating with her? Thanks.
Okay, I think we're making rounds now. This was a phone call between the two leaders. They agreed to meet, and they set the slot for tomorrow, 5:30. By the way, this is not a dinner; it's afternoon tea. Who will be there? Only the two of them, the two leaders, will decide who will join them. Yes, someone who hasn't spoken yet. Yes, please.
Margaritis, Moussa Abdullah, Brussels Times. Can I ask another question linked to Brexit, not to Spain this time, but to another, let's say, bilateral issue between UK and another member state, Cyprus in this case. I'm referring to the so-called sovereign military bases on Cyprus, which United Kingdom occupy. And as far as I understand, the draft withdrawal agreement, they will continue to do that, although the areas will be part of the customs union in the future. So I wonder if this has also been agreed, with Cyprus, because, as you know, there have been talks about the UK withdrawal from those areas, which I don't think feel any strategic need any longer. So what is it?
Yes, the answer is yes. The issue is being addressed, has been agreed and outlined in a protocol. Yes, Griselda.
I want to come back to Mrs. May's meeting tomorrow, but the meeting of Article 50 is at just 27 member states. It's up to them to decide. Why would they meet with May in the run-up to that? Well, I think that the answer is quite clear. In order to have an agreement at 27, we have to be sure that our negotiating partners will be able to accept that. There's no point having an agreement. We do need to keep talking to our partners. And I'm surprised that you asked that question, but there is my answer.
Guys, look, I think we have exhausted. Let's have a final round, and then I want to show the visitors that the EU has also a positive agenda. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I think there'll be many people in the UK who think Brexit is positive. Well, about 17.5 million at last count. But just back to that question about Theresa May, she does say she's coming over to negotiate. Is that what is expected to happen?
On your comment, I don't want any misunderstanding. I have the fullest respect of the people who think that Brexit is a positive thing, as I have the fullest respect to the ones who think otherwise and lost the vote. So far from me what is positive, what is considered positive across the channel. I'm discussing here in the Berlaymont from our side of the fence. Now, again, I think I said that, but let me repeat it. We have a process now where we discuss with our member states and with our British partners ahead of the European Council of Sunday. The aim of this last stretch is to endorse the withdrawal agreement and approve the terms of the future relationship, the political declaration for the future relationship. This is a moment where work is ongoing. We will crystallize this word, finalize, on Sunday morning. the meeting with the Prime Minister tomorrow is important because it, as I just said to Griselda, it allows us to ensure that the process to the summit addresses these two concerns. I don't think I need to be more scientific on that. I said that on the withdrawal agreement we have a text approved by the College of Commissioners, endorsed by the Cabinet of the United Kingdom, approved by member states, yesterday with a number of concerns expressed. This is a process. This is what's happening. I don't see what else I can say. Yes, let's see.
Thank you, Margaritis. Say, over the road yesterday, a number of ministers said the book is closed for new negotiations on the withdrawal agreement. Just wondering, does the Commission share this view as well, please? Thank you.
I just answered that. David.
Let's be